Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today, I'm going to show you something that if you do music recording, this may be really helpful to your life. So today we're going to jump into the computer and I'm going to show you something that I really love and I use when I'm starting to record songs myself. It's the drummer program within Logic. Now there are several different types of DAWs that you can use. There's Digital Performer, there's Pro Tools, there's Ableton. I know Presonus has one as well. Studio One, I think it's called. But I use Logic, and built into Logic, there's something that I think will be really helpful to you guys, and it's the drummer program. I know I use this a lot to set some basic drum patterns and things like that for songs that I'm working on, that I'm starting to record, so that I can get the basics down as I'm working on a song, preparing things. And as I'm writing worship songs as well, I will use this to be a baseline for what I give to my drummer so he can start the real process of building this. And even for my own personal music, I've actually been using this same program to create the drum tracks for my songs. I'll create these drummer tracks and then I will jump in and I'll edit the MIDI myself and make it exactly how I want. But this gives me a great starting place to be able to dive in and start something out. So let's dive into Logic and I'll show you how I use drummer a little bit. So we're going to come into Logic here, and first we're going to open a new track and we're going to do a new drummer track. And you can see right here it bounces in automatically and creates two different sections for you. I'm just going to talk through a couple of these different pieces. I'm not going to dive into a full tutorial on this thing, but at least give you the basics and the framework to be able to use this effectively. Down here in this section here, we have different types of music that they have within here. So rock, alternative, songwriter, R&B, electronic, and hip-hop. So let's just go to alternative right now. Within each one of these different frameworks of types of music, you have a different drummer, and each different drummer has a different style. And you can see as you scroll over top of them, a little blurb about them. So Aiden, for instance, although an exceptional drummer, Aiden insists on restraint and plays intentionally simple indie rock beats. So let's go with Aiden for right now. Once we select Aiden, it brings us in and he's got several different types of drum presets within this window here. But also over here you see what kind of drum set he played. And so once I click on that, this is the drum set that comes up. You can change the type of kit that he's playing. It's got some other presets within the drum kit designer that you can use. But for right now, we'll just stick with Aiden's Portland kit. Let's hit play on this real quick and you guys can hear kind of what this is doing right off the bat. So it's a pretty simple beat that we have in there right now. So let's go change this. Let's tweak this one a little bit. The first thing we have option to change is our presets. And so we've got some different options here within Aiden's kit that you can change around. So let's listen to Fine Grind and see what that does. So automatically you saw some different things change over here. It shifted to a more tom feel, all that sort of thing. Let's check out Green and Yellow and see how that sounds. So each of these things will have a different feel to it. It'll have a different sound and it'll set these presets for you based on whatever you want to do within there. So I generally find one that I think kind of meets the basic parameters of what I'm looking for. And then I'll dive in and we'll tweak out things a little bit more to get them how I want to for the different portions of the song. So within this window here, we're gonna stick with Green and Yellow. This little box right here allows me to kind of set my parameters of you've got loud, soft, simple, or complex. So if I go super loud and complex, you'll see change my waveform, and now Green and Yellow sounds like this. So it's gotten a little bit more complex than it was before, and it has made it a ton louder. Let's go to the opposite corner. Soft and simple, and here's what we have now. So you'll hear it's obviously softened up quite a bit, and he's simplified the beat quite a bit. Based on whatever part of the song that you might be in, you can choose where you want to be with this. And so it gives you a lot of flexibility within here. You want loud and simple, come over here. And you can work your different parameters within that. As we move to this next window, it shows the different pieces of the drum kit and how they can be utilized here. So if I turn this and just click on hi-hats, it gets rid of the cymbals, and now we're going to be playing this beat on the hi-hats rather than on the cymbals that are up here. So now you'll hear everything has moved to the hi-hats now. So if we go back to cymbals, it once again updates our waveform, and it's moved up to the cymbals again. And even within here, you have different options of the type of cymbal sound you want. Some of the packs have more options within here, but let's switch over to number 2, and you can see how this changes. So it's opened up that ride a little bit. Let's check out number 3, see what it does. So it's moved to a more washy sound of the ride or the cymbal that was in there. You also have some control over your kick and snare. How are they accenting? You'll see down here when I click on this, there's a half there and a 2 times. So if I click on this one over here, it shifts it to a half time type of a groove. So let's hear that. And if I click on this last one, it does 2 times. So you have several different options within there. Each one of these does a different thing. You've got different points along this line that you can click and select from. And then over here, you can make him play more fills, or you can make him play no fills, a lot less fills, and simplify it out that way as well. And you can also give it a swing or no swing, and you can set it to the 8th or the 16th note based on what you're trying to accomplish with the song. You've got some really dynamic tools here that you can use to change up your settings and make it feel how you want it to feel and get that bass line like we were talking about. You can also click on details here, and you'll have a little bit more options in here. Ghost notes, whether you want those to be loud or quiet on the snare, whether you want to give the feel of it a little bit of push and pull, some organicness to it, anything like that. Now, why is there a different section here? The nice thing is, I'm going to move over to this different section, and it's got a completely different set of things to it. And now I can go around and move this stuff around, and let's say I want to get rid of the tom and snare, the kick and the snare there, and I just want to make this section on the toms. So what this allows me to do is, for different sections of my song now, I can pattern this out. So the verse is going to be this way, the chorus is going to have this feel, the bridge is going to have this feel, and so now I can cut this up and change each one of these sections to how I want them to feel. And you'll see here also it's flipped to Powell's World. I can flip it back to green and yellow, so it's got the same kind of push and pull as the other section did, and I can make all those changes to my verse and my chorus and all these different things. And the software does a really good job of blending between the two. So it knows, hey, I'm coming up to this measure, I'm heading into a new section, I'm going to do a fill over. So let's start over here, and now what we see is this. So it did a little simple fill there, and if I come to the end of this line, you see my waveform's a little different there. Let's see how this sounds at the end. A little fill into the end of the song there. It's really simple tools in here. You have a lot that you can use. You have a lot that you can do. And so I'll use this to set up my bass line. So let me show you a song that I started not too long ago, just a couple days ago actually, and started building some framework for what I'm writing into this thing. So let me open that up real quick. So here we are into this new song that I just started working on not too long ago. And you can hear kind of some of the simple drums that I put into this. And then we'll go ahead and head into the next section here. And I've simplified into the chorus. So you can see I have my different markers as it goes through the song and how the song is set up and everything like that. So then once I've got kind of my baseline of how I want this to go. I've got a feel for it. I'm a guitar player first, so obviously I've done some writing on guitar and some basic things, but I like to lay a baseline of my drums so I kind of know the feel that I'm going for, what feel I've got in my head, and then I'll use that to start recording some guitar tracks, some scratch tracks. So this is all scratch stuff. This has all been done within Logic, just using the Logic pedal designer and an amp designer within here. So then I'll just start going through and laying out scratch tracks for the different portions of the song. So really simple, that's how I use this program, to just set up some basic things within there and give me some good framework. If I am going to turn this into a full song that I'm not going to have a drummer do, like I'm writing an album for myself right now, kind of a rock album, and I'm using this to set up my bass lines, and then I'll drag it down to a MIDI channel, and I can go tweak all of my MIDIs, I can select my drums, I'll pull it into Superior Drummer, and get my really good sounds out of that. And then I'll bounce out some really good drum tracks out of that, and I'll use those to tweak in my mix towards the end. I'm not going to get into all of that now. Just wanted to kind of show you guys the basics of this. As you guys are beginning to write music or anything like that, this might be a really good tool for you guys to be able to use to kind of dive in a little bit and get your bass lines to give to your drummers and things like that, so that you can create some scratch tracks for all this. Hope that was helpful. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. I know Superior Drummer has some preset stuff in their Superior Drummer 3 now as well. I don't have that. And I believe that even Slate has something like this in it as well. You have to have Logic or GarageBand. This is even in GarageBand too. So if you have a Mac and you've got Logic or you've got GarageBand, you've got access to these drummer tracks. So let me know what you thought about it. Hit me up in the comments, like, subscribe, and please share these videos, and we'll see you guys next time.